Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. It's your girl Dawn, aka the Goddess, and I am here to bring you another teaching moment by the Goddess. We're going to continue on to part 2 of the mystic character. I do want to apologize for my setup today, guys. I'm in my room because the children are downstairs. We only have 2 floors in the house, and yeah, I still wanted to try to get this video out to you guys, so here I am. Welcome to my room. I have some of my artifacts around me that help me keep myself spiritually together and just grounded and centered. Okay, I got some selenite here. So, welcome back, guys. I do apologize for the delay in between videos. I've been very busy, but you guys know the drill. If you're here, if you're coming into the channel and it's your first time, welcome. My name is Dawn. I go by the Goddess. If you're feeling my vibe, please like, share, or subscribe to the channel. Yes, please do that, guys. So the last time we were together on the Teaching Moment by the Goddess, we did do the mystic character. Just one second, guys. I see my boyfriend's clothes behind me. We were discussing the mystic character, and I think we left off with one mystic character I did discuss heavily was Harriet Tubman. And of course, you guys, there's lots of mystic characters, right? But I was trying to just focus more on ones that I felt like really stood out to me. Okay, obviously Jesus is a mystic character for me. And there's just a host of other mystic characters that you may identify with, okay? Again, if you go back to that previous video, it'll discuss more on what a mystic character is or characteristics of the mystic character. And we did go into parts of how you identify as a mystic character or a mystical being even. You know, we don't have to deal with the labels or the specifics of things. Okay, I do have some notes here. Just going back on some of the stuff we did discuss about Harriet Tubman being the mystic character of my choice today for this particular series. She was the liberation of Black women. Okay, she was had incredible determination. Her death was honorable. She couldn't even read or write, but she understood the importance of education. Okay, in connection to the divine. Harriet Tubman also she was tremendously strong spiritually. She had after being, enduring such hard times and such great pain and hardships through her life, she's still wanting to save other lives, right? So one of the major characteristics of mystic characters is that want or that need to help others, okay, to serve, right? Her willingness to sacrifice for her visions from God is powerful. Is powerful to say the least, because it signifies that she was all about instruction, stability, determination, okay? She also heeded the call from the divine to do her work, okay, and to help others ascend as well, or move past a very hard time in their life. We did discuss also parts of other mystic characters and how not everyone can be cured, but everyone can be healed. We discussed the representation made on death and it being the beginning of a great life. And not the end, okay, of a profound one. Okay, the mystic character identifies death as a rebirth process. It's more like a cycle that is restarting, and then something new is going to happen in that, new things are going to happen while old things die away. Okay, the mystic character does have a lot to do with just being able to understand that sacrifice for the greater whole is way more important, okay, than the ego, right? Okay, so I'm not going to go back over the whole thing for the characteristics of Harriet Tubman. We're going to move forward. There was a Native American mystic character that I did do a couple of I did notice, and it's because I'm going into more of my Native American roots. I'm starting to understand that I'm more of a descendant of indigenous American people that were already here, the Black natives. My family is not rooted in South Africa or anywhere in Africa for that matter, so I didn't have any slaves in my family history. So one of them was Andrew Frank Foolscrow. Foolscrow was another spiritual leader, more on like a shaman level, okay? He was he was asserted that he never charged for his healing work or advice. He just, never touched alcohol or drugs. He was convinced that a true medicine person or shaman must be a person of faith, right? And that they can work successfully with those who also believe or have a faith as well. So he did believe in healing the spirit and then the body and then the mind, through the mind. Okay. So another characteristic of a mystic character would be that they have a faith in healing, okay, through spirituality. Right. Another one of the major elements of a mystic character is that actual moral capacity, or that moral compass. Okay, that moral capacity is like a global or universal spirituality, and is fully operating moral capacity. Right, a person who lies, cheats, steals, and treats others unkindly has a weak moral foundation in essence. And the moral component of this spiritual life is that it's universal and is recognized by all the great, by all the great spiritual and religious traditions. Right, so everyone who believes in spirituality or a higher knowledge or esoteric, okay, is going to have that moral capacity, okay? They're going to have that moral foundation, okay? They're going to morally be upright, okay? Also, it's not possible to live a spiritual or mystical life without the highest moral virtues, right? So you'd have to really, truly, like, okay, if we used Jesus as one of our mystic characters, for example, the sacrifice portion of that moral capacity is actually kind of, to me, what drove him to be such a leader, okay, and such that the name Jesus will ring bells throughout lifetimes because of his leadership roles, okay, his characteristics around his moral capacity, okay, the fact that he believed so much in truth and honor, okay. It has been said that morality has three parts, okay? Respect for oneself, respect for others, and then respect for one's environment. Okay, so, I mean, even down to small things like throwing your trash out on the ground when you can find a place to place your trash or recycle it. Even that, says a lot about you morally, because you would care about your environment and respect it, if you had these moral characteristics of a mystic character. So moving on. Okay, continuing on with moral capacity. Okay, five of the eightfold paths of Buddha. Okay, so if you're aware of anything about Buddhist, there are eightfold path that Buddhists directly relate to as far as their morality. Okay, it's the right review, right intention, right effort, right speech, and right livelihood. Okay, these prospects are similar to that of the five that included in the law of demonstration principle of the Universal Foundation for Better Living, okay, a New Thought Christian organization in Baltimore. They basically think it's right thinking, right words, right feelings, right actions, right reactions, okay. Many believe that the Ten Commandments are also a moral foundation of Judaism and Christianity. Some historians assert that the Ten Commandments were predated by and derived from what is called the 42 Declarations of Purity, okay, the negative confessions, the confessions of Mayat, okay, and it is said that Jesus the Christ refined the moral code further with two new commandments, which he said summed up the law and of the prophets, okay, to love God and love your neighbor as you would love yourself, okay. These are things that make you morally strong, right, in order to lead a spiritual path of a mystic character, okay? So you can't run around lying, cheating, stealing, and thinking the wrong things, saying the wrong things, having the wrong actions, or having the wrong reactions, and I'm talking to myself as well, and then expect to be someone that people will look up to or listen to or heed to, right, or come to, or even have the divine choose you in a way that you would be in that leadership role to lead people, okay, to want to be able to be a part of a divine order. According to our text, though, it is often said that mystics are beyond morality, all right? This does not mean that they are free to act outside of morality. It just means that the inner life of a mystic is grounded in love and compassion and wisdom, and that they possess the essence of that of the highest ethical understanding possible in this life. I know I have not reached where I would want to be as a mystic character or as a mystical being, Okay, there are still parts of myself that I still need to master. There are still parts of my environment that I need to understand, okay, and be able to pour love back into these places. And I mean, again, this goes back to that continuation of the five of the eightfold paths. Okay, that right view, right intention, right effort, right speech, right livelihood, or thinking, words, feelings, and actions, or reactions. I'm still battling my lower self, my lower demons, when it comes to being able to make the right decisions based upon a higher level of understanding. So I hope that makes sense. The inner life of a mystic character is just simply grounded in love and compassion and wisdom. Okay, so I know that I'm still obtaining parts of myself that in order for me to be the highest level of essence and ethical understanding that I can possibly obtain, right? But that takes time. It also takes one going within to search yourself, and search your family history and your bloodline and find out what is it that came through your life, your family bloodline, or that came through you in this lifetime that can cause you to not be in your highest level of essence of highest ethical understanding. Okay, and it's really hard to do, right? Because we live in a time where everything has to be politically right or wrong, or there's a lot of racist issues, okay? There's a lot of social economic issues. There's a lot of financial constraints and unfairness within this world that we live in. So it's really hard to make sure that you're trying to stay on the beaten path to the highest level of spirituality you can be. But this is the essence of a mystic character. I'm gonna read a quote to you. It says, "We are then good, merciful, loving, wise, gentle, patient, and compassionate, simply because that's what we are in our own realized nature, not because any system tells us to be this way." Okay, end quote. So another huge element that's going to be a part of the mystic character, okay, is solidarity with all. Okay, the mystical oneness of all things, right? So, solidarity with all, excuse me guys, I'm just going to stretch my legs. The second element in the universal mysticism is a deep realization that everyone and everything is interconnected. Okay, if you watch any of my previous videos, I have discussed this in previous teaching moments about the oneness of everything that is, about the oneness that has to be within yourself in order for you to be connected to everything else that is one, right? Intense mystical experiences confirms that unity of all reality, cosmic and earthly life, of all beings, everything that exists in undefined field of wholeness. Okay, everything and everyone co-arises together, and everything affects everything else. Nothing exists in isolation from the whole. Okay, so this is a huge characteristic of the mystic character, to understand solidarity with everything, okay? Being solid and one with all things, okay? That's why it's important to understand that if you love yourself and love your neighbor, you also would love your environment. So this is why it goes back to that one example of being able to learn to just simply throw away your trash, or learn to recycle, okay? Learn to grow your own crops. And there are things that it's important to understand why mystic characters use these certain elements as part of how they described who they were, okay? And their importance on the history of humanity. Excuse me, I'm gonna get some water. Excuse me. So, the one true God and the one thought center for better living, which is that place we talked about in Baltimore, they understand the universal foundation for better living can capture the concept in the following statement: I am one with God. I am one with all people. I am one with all life. I am one with God. One thought. Again, the concept of solidarity or oneness with all things can be difficult to understand, because we are taught that there's been a separation from the beginning, that you were separated from God, or separated from love, or separated from your parents, or there's just negative mass consciousness of separation, okay, where you feel like you're separated from each other and that you're different from each other. And really, in all reality, the truth is, outside of that illusion, we are all one. Okay, we're all connected to each other, and everything that affects me actually affects you. Okay, and also affects your grandmother, and affects your kids, and because this is all ripple effect, domino effect. Okay, we're all connected from the very beginning of time, from the very beginning time of creation. Okay. So one presence and one power, God and spirit in the universe. This is the only one power, okay? So there's some of us believe that you know, like for instance, if you're on some type of soul journey, soulmate, twin flame, you're under the illusion in the beginning that you're separated from your person, when really you and that person are one. Okay, in a physical sense, you may be in two different bodies, but understanding that the mystic character will understand that on a larger scale, on a greater scale, on a grander macro scale, you and that person were actually one soul and split into two bodies in the beginning, okay? Masculine and feminine, yin and yang, dark and light, negative and positive, above, below. They're all connected, okay? Without one, there is no other. Okay, there is not, without understanding darkness, you cannot have the light. Okay, without understanding the hatred of the world, you cannot show love. And these are the duality of the planet, is understanding that there is only oneness. Okay, so we're going to move on. The third element to the mystic character is deep nonviolence. Okay, protest for the nonviolence. Okay, so we know there's a lot of mystic characters that were nonviolent type of people. Okay, they didn't have to use a violent way, a gun, a knife, or war to make it plain that they were just trying to move in love. Okay, the mystic character, again, we talked about what the mystic character consists of: love, compassion, okay, making the right choices, the right thoughts, the right moves, the right intentions, the right reactions. Okay, they're not rooted in love. So one of the major elements, again, element number 3 is deep nonviolence. Okay, so again, according to the text, when one gets rooted deeply in the spiritual life, it leads them to a nonviolence life, right? The attitude and practice of not wanting to harm anyone, okay? The realization of the interconnectedness of all beings and all things brings with it a sense of the utter preciousness of life, of all things. So that's like seeing a spider in your house and slapping it dead. I know. We all are like squeamish about bugs. I am, okay? If I see a roach or any type of bug, I'm disgustedly, mouse, anything. Which is why I told you guys I'm still having to work on myself when it comes to my mystic characteristics, right? I'm still not a full-blown mystic being, okay? Because then you would understand that even smacking a spider, create one that's one with you, okay? Spiders and all things that are in creation are all one together. You would understand that killing that spider is like killing a part of yourself. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's not. It's true. When you understand how a mystic character operates, you understand that you're one with all things. So even killing something as small as a spider or spitting your gum out on the street and leaving it there is all a part of the master plan. It's all a part of the greater whole. It's all a part of you. The spiritually mature have a natural sensitivity toward all other persons and all other creatures, okay? And a profound awareness of the dignity and worth of everyone and everything that is. Further, our text also reads that the West doesn't grasp the importance and necessity of nonviolence, and the United States in particular has built a culture of violence. We know this, okay? Our country is built upon war, okay? Famine, racism. Okay, shall I go on? It's sad to see. But if more people like me, like you, the mystic character who's watching this video, get in line with the importance of these elements, okay? The importance of being solidarity to all things, okay? Nonviolent, okay? Understanding that there is going to be a need of sacrifice and atonement in order for you to obtain this kind of, because really this type of this level of mysticism really comes from the divine. It's not of our own doing. I mean, sure, you have to have the heart, you have to have the heart to care. You have to have the mind open enough for spirit or whatever it is you believe in, the light, to come in and choose you for this. Some of us aren't chosen. You know, we know about Harriet Tubman or Fool's Crow or Jesus or whatever mystic character you identify with because of their willingness to sacrifice, to be chosen. Okay? So blessed are the peacemakers. Okay, that's why we say peace. Gandhi or Nelson Mandela. These, there are people who have made a huge impact into the world of spirituality as well as the world of physicality through their mystic characteristics, because they were truly mystical beings that had mastered these concepts and elements into their life. Continuing on with nonviolence, it says, the Universal Declaration on Nonviolence, issued on October 9th, 1990, addresses the spiritual importance of nonviolence. Although it was signed by thousands, including the author of the text, it is well known outside the Catholic Mosaic communities. Okay, virtually all the heroes and she-heroes of nonviolence have been either mystics or men and women of prayer. Okay, it is true with Jesus, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, the Dalai Lama, okay, Desmond Tutu, just a host of other ones have been very much about not using violence to force people to hear or listen. Okay? Okay, so a couple more things about the mystic character, and then we're going to wrap this series up. For centuries, mystics and spiritual seekers have asserted as a truism, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? It is true that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and the student hears the inner call to be and decides to heed it. Okay, the heeding of the call summons the teacher from within. And so the spiritual master arrives. Who is the spiritual master? You. You are God, small g. You are co-creating with the Spirit. We are perfectly capable of turning this entire world around on a spiritual level, rising the good energy and high vibration again. Okay, the mystic characters and spiritual teachers were once just like us. They are really no different from us, and they are just further along on their path. These individuals are usually extremely gentle, always patient and kind. They never are in a hurry and are more deliberate, right? They radiate compassion and love and are spontaneous. The true mystic expresses almost infinite sensitivity to all beings, human and non-human. Okay? They like hug trees and pray for the tree, pray with the tree. I'm being funny, but no, seriously. I hug trees, so sorry, tree huggers. There is the ability to really listen to another and then to be fully present at the same time with them. These individuals are usually others-centered, accepted others without judgment, and do not attempt to change another without their permission. This is something I vastly have to work on, because I'm constantly trying to force my ideals onto others so that they can fit into my life. And then that's not being contemplative or mystic in any way. Being a mystic character is all about expressing your infinite sensitivity and love for all things, at all beings, at all times, without making judgment or harsh decisions on that, and still being an individual person who has patience, kindness, never in a hurry, and can still be spontaneous and completely present when someone is trying to get your attention, as well as everywhere at the same time. I hope you all enjoyed this series of the mystic character. Next, I think I'm going to bring in the session on the Holy Spirit. So I'm really excited about that. So tune into another teaching moment by the goddess if you're interested. And I will be back or see you guys again soon. Have a great day. Love, light, mysticism, and peace.